Hey everybody, welcome to Movies Merica. This latest episode is going to be about Russell Crowe's Robin Hood. Yes, it's a throwback version of Movies Merica. And you know what? Tugboat is, he's restless. He's got to watch Robin Hood right now. Okay, he's ready. Are you? Let's do this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey there, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome to the latest episode of Movies Merica. Yes, come on in, relax yourself, relax your mind, chill out on your beanbag chair or your futon with your bros or wherever you're at, okay? Come on in, and now we are going to get yourself a throwback episode of Movies Merica, okay? This is a dead weekend for movies, and so when I have a dead weekend where it's like a barren wasteland, you know, just a godforsaken desert at the box office, I like to go back and check out old movies, okay? And I had my man Trevor.
Bloody hell.
He's a fan of the show. He suggested Russell Crowe's Robin Hood movie from 13 years ago. And I said, that's some lucky timing. Trevor, you're in luck. We got a dead week here, and I try to accommodate anybody who recommends a movie or asks me to review a movie. I try to accommodate.
Let's go, I'm bored, let's go.
That when I can. And so here we are, a Robin Hood version of Movies Merica from 13 years ago. Okay, so we have Russell Crowe playing Robin Hood back in 2010. And a little trivia for you, Russell Crowe is the oldest actor at the time he played Robin Hood to play Robin Hood. Okay, he was 45 at the time. Basically, just to let you know, in case you're interested, Kevin Costner was 35 when he played Robin Hood in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Sean Connery was like 44 when he played Robin Hood back in Robin and Marion back in the 70s. So yeah, Russell Crowe, he's the old man playing Robin Hood in this movie. But yeah, he got criticized, from some, just basically probably some fringe movie fans or whatever, so criticizing that he was the oldest person to play Robin Hood, thought he was too old. So, but in this movie, he's not. Okay. But yeah, the lowdown in this movie is that Robin Hood starts out in a rather intricate plot for a Robin Hood movie. He starts out as a knight in the Crusades, and he's fighting on the side of King Richard the Lionheart, and they're trying to make their way back to England. And King Richard the Lionheart, he's broke, okay? He's used up all his money on the troops and the equipment and all that. So he's returning back to England from the Crusades pretty broke. And so he has to sack all these castles.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle.
On the way back home to get their goods, get their gold and all the trinkets and that kind of thing to pay for it. So that's where the movie starts out at. And then as it would be, Russell Crowe or Robin Hood and his merry men, they leave the army, and then King Richard's party is on its way to return the crown to England when they're ambushed, and then Robin ends up with the crown, and they pose as the king's royal guard, and they take the crown to this boat. The boat, in turn, takes them to London, and then they return the crown to the throne, whatever, to the royal family, and then at that point, Robin Hood makes his way to Nottingham, where he meets Maid Marian and Friar Tuck and all the familiar Robin Hood characters that you're used to, right? And so that's the amount of the synopsis that I'm going to give you, okay? Because I know this movie's 13 years old. There might be some people who haven't seen this movie, okay? But as I've already mentioned, Russell Crowe plays Robin Hood. Cate Blanchett, Academy Award-winning actress, plays Maid Marian in this. And this reminds me, we have multiple Oscar winners in this movie. Russell Crowe, of course, Cate Blanchett, and then William Hurt is in this movie. He won back in 1985 the Oscar for Best Actor, I think in 1985 or 86, for Kiss of the Spider Woman. So this movie, yeah, it's got its fair share of Academy Gold in this thing, okay? Also, I can't leave out costume designer Janty Yates, costume designer, obviously, for Robin Hood. She won as the costume designer for Ridley Scott's Gladiator, okay? 10 years before this movie came out, all right? And this movie, when I watched it for this episode, it was the second time I've ever seen Robin Hood. But the first time I saw Robin Hood was like the theatrical cut when I saw it actually at the theater back in 2010. And I was not impressed, okay? But I watched the unrated director's cut, and it is so much better, okay? Don't bother with the theatrical version. It doesn't give the movie the time it takes to develop the characters and actually make you give a crap about what happens, okay? In the unrated director's cut, it's more brutal and bloody, and like I just inferred, it gives you more time for character development. So you actually, yeah, like I said, you actually care about what happens to the characters. And the Ridley Scott director's cuts are usually the way to go, okay? Not just for Robin Hood, but Kingdom of Heaven is another good example of that. Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven movie that he came out with in 2005. I think it was like his first movie or second movie after Gladiator. And so I'm sure the studio was trying to capitalize on, hey, you hit Oscar gold with this movie that took place back in olden times, so to speak. So why don't you just do it again with Kingdom of Heaven? Well, that didn't work out so hot.
You blew it!
Because the version of the movie they put out in the theaters, not the version that Ridley Scott wanted to put out, bombed at the box office, okay? And deservedly so, because the theatrical version of that movie sucked, okay? And then Orlando Bloom was like the lead character in it. And Orlando Bloom just has the charisma of a box of Wheat Thins, okay? So he just couldn't carry the movie like Russell Crowe carried Gladiator, all right? And so this movie also, it fell into the category of the general phenomenon for me of liking a movie a lot better the second time that I've seen it. Another example of that is the Miami Vice movie from 2006. I grew up with Miami Vice back in the 80s, and so when I heard that they were coming out with a Miami Vice movie, I was like, oh my God, this is great, sweet. And then I saw it for the first time, and I was like, oh God, this is a letdown, man. But then the second time I saw the Miami Vice movie in 2006, I think I got it, okay? I got what Michael Mann was going for. So it's another example, like Robin Hood, of a movie that, upon further review, I liked the movie better. So, but yeah, that's the synopsis and a little bit more than that for Robin Hood. This is the fifth movie that Russell Crowe and Ridley Scott have done together. Of course, they did Gladiator and A Good Year and Body of Lies, American Gangster, and then Robin Hood. And they've been mostly good, with A Good Year being the exception. And I have to say, I've always liked the story that Russell Crowe tells about the first time that Ridley Scott talked to him on the first day of shooting Gladiator. And Russell Crowe, he tells the story like this. So I was on the first day of shooting Gladiator, and I'm all dressed up. I'm in my Roman general costume. I'm there with hundreds of people on the movie set in the forest. They're all dressed for battle. There's battle and military armaments everywhere. The production designer has this forest looking like it's a burnt down forest. All these extras. And suddenly Ridley Scott walks up to me and he says, Russell, for this scene, maybe you look to your right. Maybe you look to your left. Maybe you see this bird sitting there. And maybe this bird flies off and you see the bird flying and maybe you let out a little smile. And then you see the bird fly off and it reminds you of the battle that is to come, that is still in front of you. And then Russell Crowe continues to say, I heard his instruction. I think I pulled it off. When the bird took off, I went, my face made that expression that there is plenty of battle left to do. I think I did everything he said, okay? And then after that, after the scene is wrapped, Ridley comes up to me and he says, you and me are going to be effing great, mate. This particular show is spoiler free, but the show on Thursday night will not be spoiler free. You can take that to the bank. It's going to be very spoilery. You're going to be swimming in spoilers, okay, if you watch my Movies Merica spoiler warning show, okay, which I really want you to do. I really want you to join me because I want you to watch Russell Crowe's Robin Hood between now and then, okay? And then join me on Movies Merica spoiler warning this Thursday night at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So that's 6 Central, 5 Mountain, okay? Because I want to talk to you all about Robin Hood, okay? I want you to tell me, hey, Van, I want you to talk more about this scene, or hey, Van, what did you think about that? What's your favorite Ridley Scott movie? Or, just because I'm going to be going through the synopsis of Robin Hood this Thursday night, okay? And then that's going to give you the chance to live chat with me, all right? You're going to be able to live chat with me, and you're going to be able to ask questions like I just said, or give me comments or that kind of thing, because I don't want to just talk to myself. That's boring, and it's a little psycho, okay? So I want you to talk back at me here through the live chat, and the show, Movies Merica Spoiler Warning, is on YouTube and Rumble, okay? And so through Rumble, which is the better way to join the show because it's easier to find, okay? And Rumble is just the cool, slick, hip, with it today place, like YouTube was like yesterday's news, okay? Yesterday, YouTube is just, it's played out, it's lame, where Rumble is the cool club with the cool vibe, okay? And so if you go to Rumble, just look for Movies Merica, okay? And then at YouTube, you can look for Movies Merica as well. But YouTube, being the foobar that it is, the snafu that it is, I should say, when you try to search for Movies Merica, it tries to search for Movies America. Wrong, okay? When it does that, it's going to show at the right below where you typed in Movies Merica. It's going to say, do you want to search instead for Movies Merica? Click on that, and then that'll jostle YouTube's little brain into searching for what you actually typed in. Okay, I know YouTube is so stupid. So go ahead and join me for this Thursday night at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. So that's 6 Central, 5 Mountain. Okay, for Movies Merica spoiler warning. I hope to see you there. Okay, time now for the movie nerd talk. Okay.
Pardon me?
Okay. And to that end, the production design for Robin Hood is done by Arthur Max. And he's actually worked with Ridley Scott for as far back as G.I. Jane back in 1997, of course, with Demi Moore. And Arthur Max, he just brings his fantastic production design skill that we saw in Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven, and then later on in The Last Duel, which is a movie that's a lot more recent, with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Adam Driver. And to me, Arthur Max, he's just the best at creating old worlds, okay? His ability to just intricately design environments that feel so immersive, so real, so intense is just, it's second to none. I mean, he's just the best at it. I call him the man of castles, cathedrals, and coasts, okay? Because if you watch Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven and The Last Duel, he just makes that just look so cool. I mean, it doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look like some crappy TV movie or anything like that. It's good to go. Yeah, and it never looks like a cheesy Renaissance fair, okay? And then more movie nerd talk, okay? I want to talk about the costume design. And the costume design is by Janty Yates, and it's incredible, okay? So obviously, you know, what everyone's wearing, right? And Janty Yates, she won an Oscar for Gladiator. So you remember, like, just how cool the costumes were in Gladiator, you know, what Russell Crowe wore, and you've got Joaquin Phoenix and the rest of the cast. It just looked cool, okay? It just looked like this hard-edged Gladiator movie, right? And so she, of course, deservedly won an Oscar for Gladiator. And that skill just continues on in Robin Hood, okay? The armor on all the knights is just badass, okay? And this Robin Hood is grittier looking, okay? He looks tougher and not as corny, particularly less so than, say, like the Errol Flynn version of Robin Hood from back in, the 30s, 40s, whenever that was, or Mullet Hood, as I call Kevin Costner's Robin Hood back in 1991. So, yeah, she gives Russell Crowe, like, that hard-edged Robin Hood look to him, so he doesn't look all cheesy and corny. And also, the costumes for the royalty aren't cheesy at all. They're not overstated, but they're regal enough to where you can differentiate them, you know, the royal family, from the commoners that they rule. Okay, and overall, this movie just has that typical Ridley Scott feeling of you know, that epic event movie feel. Okay, you know, you had that with Gladiator and American Gangster and Hannibal. You know, Black Hawk Down. Just this event epic movie feel, and Ridley Scott is just the best at that. Okay, his movies, they have like this powerful, robust feel about them, which, in my eyes, pretty much makes them like the world's strongest man of movies. Wow. The supporting cast in this movie is just incredible. I mean, you've got Mark Strong, Oscar Isaac, Danny Huston, Lea Seydoux, Mark Addy, who the year after this movie was released would go on to play King Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones, okay? And then you have the late, great Max von Sydow, who also was in Game of Thrones briefly, and then the late, great William Hurt in this, of course. And Mark Strong, he puts in yet another fantastic villainous performance in this, because that's what he's known for. That's what Mark Strong is known for, typically, with a good guy part sprinkled here and there, and that kind of thing. But typically, he plays the bad guys. And right before he played the villain in Robin Hood, he had played the villain in Kick-Ass and in Sherlock Holmes, okay? And then Mark Strong's previous work with Ridley Scott was in Ridley Scott's Body of Lies movie that came out a couple years before Robin Hood. Ironically enough, Mark Strong played a good guy in Body of Lies, okay? And Oscar Isaac, who's also in this movie, that was also his most recent or his last movie with Ridley Scott. He was in Body of Lies as well, and he ended up getting blown up in that movie. Okay, so spoilers. And then also you'll briefly see Simon McBurney, who was also in Body of Lies. So a lot of mission creep, from Body of Lies made it over into Robin Hood. Okay. Danny Huston, he plays King Richard the Lionheart. You got Leia Sydow, who you've seen recently as James Bond's love interest in Spectre and No Time to Die. She plays King John's French mistress. Mark Addy, he plays Friar Tuck, who tends to his flock by brewing some honey mead and from the bees that he keeps. Okay, that's my kind of man of God right there. All right. And then Max von Sydow, he plays Sir Walter Loxley, okay? And then John Hurt, Oscar-winning John Hurt, plays William Marshall, okay? And this movie, just having these great actors just gives it just like this gravitas.
Sexy.
Okay, this bold gravitas. No doubt, because if you watch this movie now or somewhat recently, it really gives it gravitas because like what all these actors that I just named off have done and how prominent they've become since Robin Hood came out. All right, my loyal subjects of the realm, I appreciate you sticking around this long in this Robin Hood spoiler-free review episode of Movies Merica, okay? And I would just like to take this time to remind you if you would subscribe to this channel, okay? And if you would like this video, and then hit the notification bell down below. All three of those are down below. There's like the subscribe, the like, and the notification bell down there, okay? And then also get in the comments. I want to hear from you, okay? I don't want to just do this for myself. I don't want to do this episode. I don't want to feel like I'm making this episode just for moi. I'm making it for you because I want to keep you informed on movies and maybe entice you to watch a movie maybe that you haven't even thought of watching, or make sure you stay away for your sake from a movie that is just terrible. Okay, Marvel. That's what the comments are for reaching out to me, okay? And if you have a request, like this episode, I'm doing Robin Hood, a movie that came out 13 years ago, because of a request for a movie that someone wanted me to review, okay? And you can do that in the comments as well, okay? So, point being, get in the comments, okay? All right. And then also, check out tdpn.locals.com. So, TDPN as in Till Death Podcast Network. Okay, so tdpn.locals.com. Why go there? Because we have all kinds of great content for you, okay? And there goes my microphone. We got blogs, we got videos, we got articles in there about movies, hot button issues, politics, music, that kind of thing, all at tdpn.locals.com. And I know what you're saying to yourself right now. You're like, I could get that anywhere else, okay? Not that you talk that way. That's how I talk. You talk much more intelligently. But you can't get that kind of content, not the way we do it, anywhere else. Okay, trust me, okay? You're going to be like, wow, why didn't I get to this website sooner, okay? Trust me, okay? So go check out that website, and you get to interact with all the other members, okay? So, and that gives you the opportunity to support us and what we're doing, and by us, I mean me and Ian and Sean as part of the Till Death Podcast Network. You can go there, and for as low as $3 a month, You can get there and you can be a member of the website, tdpn.locals.com, and you can talk to other members and get premium content that we provide, okay? And right now, if you go there and you put in promo code TDPN, you get a free month. Free month, man. Okay, you can't beat free, right? Unless we pay you. I guess that would be better than free. Okay, we're not going to do that. But the next best thing is free for a month, okay? So if you guys would do me a solid and do those things, that would be fantastic. Okay, so now, more Robin Hood. Kudos to the filmmakers because they do pull off making Robin and Marian's relationship feel real, okay? It doesn't feel rushed, and they write Robin doing and saying things that convince me that Marian would fall for him after she sees him and hears him do these things. And it helps that Max von Sydow's Sir Walter insist that they pretend to be husband and wife. And they do have some humorous, awkward moments in this that really adds some realism to how their relationship develops that I really did like. Such as like when Marian is reminiscing to Robin about her experience being married to Sir Robert Locksley. And so Robin, having known Robert Locksley, having known her dead husband, says good night, referring to he thinks that her husband is a good knight, okay? And so right after Russell Crowe says good night, Marian replies real quick, short but sweet. Basically referring to her wedding night, or thinking that Robin is referring to her wedding night with Robert Locksley right there. And then Crowe is kind of like awkwardly like, no, I was referring to him being a good night. And also what lends to their relationship seeming real and how her falling for him seems plausible is Robin intentionally or unintentionally kind of teases her a little bit, does things to tease her, to show her that he's not putting her up on a pedestal, okay? And it intrigues her, and that, along with Robin helping out her village and being a strong role model for these boys, these fatherless boys that have run to the forest or hiding in the forest, he's a strong role model for them. And then protecting her as well. There's moments he's protected her. And then just generally looking like Russell Crowe. All of that combined together has me buying the fact that she would fall for him, okay? And now, interestingly enough, Marian was originally going to be played by Sienna Miller, who you may know as Bradley Cooper's love interest, Taya Kyle, in American Sniper. That's Sienna Miller right there. She was also in Layer Cake with Daniel Craig, playing the very hot blonde total smoke show. Well, she's a total smoke show in any movie she's in. Sienna Miller, very beautiful woman. But Sienna Miller had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts because the production on Robin Hood kept getting delayed because Ridley Scott just kept not liking any of the scripts that he was given. And so the production got delayed, and then Sienna Miller couldn't play the part. And then they started thinking about other actresses to play Marian. And the top three were Kate Winslet, Cate Blanchett, and Rachel Weisz. And Kate Winslet wasn't interested, and so Cate Blanchett got the part, and that's all she wrote. That's right, it's brew review time. So everyone, step right up to the ye old pub here in Nottingham, particularly Sherwood Forest, okay, since we're doing a Robin Hood episode. And today's Lucky Brew, let's not wait anymore, okay? I've got a little George Killian's Irish Red here, okay? Hopefully you guys can all see that, okay? And as you can tell, that's a red lager, all right? And I just wanted to do a little something from across the pond just because of doing Robin Hood. Just seemed right, you know? Nothing seemed righter, okay? I mean, if doing a review on George Killian's is wrong, I don't want to be right, okay? Now, I know it's brewed. It's owned by Coors in Colorado. I get it, all right? So, but it's not Anheuser-Busch, all right? But, yeah, so George Killian's Irish Red, you know, it packs a little bit of punch for a beer. I mean, obviously, beer is not bourbon, right? It's not tequila. But it's got 5.4% alcohol by volume. You know, so you're not drinking, you know, some Anheuser-Busch Bud Light tranny fluid. No, little George Killian's, all right? So, yeah, check it out there. And I'm really going to check it out right now because I'm going to take a little drinky off this. Here goes. Yes. All right. So, George Killian's Irish Red, you can probably find it like at grocery stores. It's not some obscure underground beer or anything like that, okay? So yeah, get yourself, get in the red, George Killian's Irish Red. Wow, that sounded like an actual like promo. Wow, that sounded professional. All right, that's been Brew Review time. Brian Helgeland or Helgeland. I guess I've never really bothered to look up how you pronounce it because I'm lazy that way.
How dare you?
He wrote the story. He wrote the screenplay, or he wrote the story, and then also he's the main screenwriter of Robin Hood. Okay, and he also wrote L.A. Confidential and Payback and Mystic River. Okay, so he's got some big credits, some big accomplishments under his belt. And then speaking of Payback, he also directed the movie Payback, starring Mel Gibson, among some other movies he's directed as well. And Brian Helgeland, I'm choosing to pronounce it Helgeland. He gives the characters in Robin Hood some lively, quick-witted dialogue, but he also does it while maintaining a semblance of the manner of speaking of the time, right? We're talking about like back in olden times, right? So I hesitate to say medieval times. I don't know if these qualify as medieval times, but I'm just going to say olden times, okay? And Crowe and Blanchett, they, of course, have some great lines, and their execution of them are, you know, like top-notch, right? Because they're pros, all right? But Oscar Isaac and Danny Huston as King Richard and Max von Sydow, they get to enjoy some, you know, effervescent dialogue as well, okay? And then Robin's Merry Men, they're played by Kevin Durand and Scott Grimes and Alan Doyle, and they're well written as well, because they pretty much get some pros for bros, okay, in this movie. And so they get to be all jokey. They get the jokey pros for bros going on. And these married men characters, along with Robin, they've been through bloody hell, okay? They've been in the Crusades. They've fought in the wars. They battle hard, and they party harder, okay? And Crowe said he wanted the actors that play his merry men to have a musical background, okay? And his reasoning for that is because he thought characters like them that have just been through the wars, they've been through the bloody battles, okay? He pictures these being men that are just so relieved to make it off the battlefield alive, you know, and be able to breathe for another day, that they would know how to sing and party, okay, in celebration of the fact that they're still breathing, right? And and also to that end, so Alan Doyle, like I said, he plays one of the merry men. He's actually the lead singer in real life of a Canadian band called Great Big Sea, who Russell Crowe has actually collaborated with on one of the Great Big Sea albums, okay, because Russell Crowe is a musician as well. And Kevin Durand, he fancies himself as a rapper, okay? He's from like Thunder Bay, Canada, but he's like a rapper. So I guess he's Snow, or he's even more white, even more of a white rapper than Eminem. He's from like Thunder Bay, Canada. Okay, and he fancies himself a rapper. So that's how he got into the entertainment business. And then Grimes is actually a singer-songwriter, and he's been doing it so long, he actually performed with, like, Bob Hope, the Carpenters, Merv Griffin. I'm assuming that's when he was a little kid, I guess. But you guys probably know Scott Grimes best as he's like the redhead from Band of Brothers. They have the Band of Brothers goes over Easy Company, in World War II, and he's like the redheaded guy in the company. Okay, and so he's a singer, a songwriter. So you definitely met Crowe's requirement of having a musical background. In order to play one of his merry men. And also it helped that Durand and Grimes also were in the 1999 movie Mystery Alaska with Russell Crowe way back in the day. So just goes to prove Hollywood is a small world, not just small-brained sometimes. Okay, my fellow movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, I want to do you a solid for sticking around this long, okay? I want to turn you on to Nature Clear Recovery Powder. And you may be asking, what is that, okay? That is a powder that you can use to recover from a hangover or just not get a hangover whatsoever, okay? Because, hey, I review a brew on here, so that kind of product seems apropos, right? And it's going to come in handy for you. It's a real-world application, all right? Because if you're like me, you like to go out there and have a few too many sometimes, okay? I like to think and make you believe that I'm mature and intellectual enough not to do that. But that's not the case. So, some Nature Clear recovery powder would come in handy for me, okay? So what you do is it comes in these packets, okay? And you just pour it into like 12 ounces of water or like just your typical bottle of water. Pour it in there, shake it up, and then you just chug that down before you know you're going to go out there and and hit the streets, right? And go out there and party hardy. And then you won't get a hangover, okay? Now, if you're out there and right there in the middle of like your 13th tequila shot, you're like, "Oh man, I forgot to take my Nature Clear." Have no fear. Keep drinking that beer or tequila, okay? Because you can just take Nature Clear when you get home, okay? So make sure you're not too drunk where you can actually still stand up and actually drink something when you get home, and take yourself some Nature Clear, okay? And also it helps recover from like smoking and vaping. It's got a lot of applications, a lot of uses for you. So how do you get it? Well, you click on the link in the description down below, the Nature Clear link in the description, okay? Go there, pick out what you want to buy, get it in the cart, and then in the promo code field there, type in promo code MOVIES, all right? And you're going to get yourself 25% off your order, all right? Up to 25% for some Nature Clear, okay? Because the drunk life you save just might be your own. All right, everybody. Hey, just one final request to subscribe to this channel, okay? So hit the subscribe button down below and like this video, okay? Again, that like video is down there as well, okay? And then hit that notification bell so that you get a notification of brand new episodes of Movies Merica right in your face, letting you know that a brand new episode is out there just for you, okay? And then also get down in the comments, because I definitely want to hear from you, all right? Let's open up these lines of communication, and let's talk, all right? And that's what you do in the comments down below, if you would, all right? And then also check out tdpn.locals.com and get a free month there with promo code TDPN. And then after that, it's just $3 a month. $3 a month, that's like a box of Hot Pockets. That's like... 1/15 of an appetizer at TGI Fridays or something? And maybe not that expensive, but I'm bad with prices, okay? So yeah, if you would do that, I just want to, ask you to do me that solid right there, all right? Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here, but I would check out Robinhood. Like I said, I liked it better the second time. It probably helped that I watched the unrated director's cut this time, so you can get it on streaming, or you can go buy it on 4K somewhere, or Blu-ray on whatever. You can find it out there somewhere. I would definitely check it out. Now, at the end of the movie, I have to say, you could tell blatantly that they planned on having a sequel, and that is correct. They did plan on having a sequel to this movie, but unfortunately, this movie tanked at the box office, okay? Probably because of the crappy theatrical version that I didn't like the first time I watched it. Word of mouth apparently got around, and no one went to see that. Even though it's got multiple Oscar winners, it's got the director of Gladiator in it. I mean, it's got all this stuff going for it. But if the execution or the version that they release is crud, well, no one's going to want to go see it. Okay, so yeah, because it made $7 at the box office. Yeah, all thoughts of a Robin Hood sequel were not going to happen. Okay. All right, so yeah, that's been the Robin Hood throwback review. Trevor, don't say I haven't done anything for you ever. Okay. And with that, everybody, hey, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.